Anthony Frazier is a community organizer in Indiana County. He's previously worked on the Indiana Mall Expo and hosts the Acoustic Hour on AM 1160. He's here today to talk to us about Indiana County involvement in student celebration from the standpoint of a community member and a former troubled youth counselor. This is the Penn News Spotlight. Thanks for being with us here today.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, what do you do now in Indiana County, and what should the students know about the Indiana County, kind of the community and how they're involved?
Well, what I currently do is I work as a technician at the Indiana County Courthouse, and that's my day job. The other things that I deal with community. I'm a worship leader, and I visit various churches and put together events, secular and contemporary events, for churches and community events all around this region. I've been doing it for a long time. I really enjoy it. So I have an opportunity to see celebrations on a lot of different levels, organized, very unorganized, student-led, corporate, private, and I've been seeing those for years. And I see the positives and the negatives and how we get into traps, particularly when we talk about events gone wrong and things like that. So I've had a good bit of experience and some simple suggestions how we can fix some of the problems so that we can have celebrations that involve communities that don't leave them destroyed.
Great. So as a community member, and you witnessed the celebrations that went on at the latest IEP celebration, the IEP Patty. So what are some of your suggestions?
Yeah, the problem with that is when you look at that event specifically, people will tune into alcohol, tune into a few kids and this, that, and the other. That's the mistake. What you need to do is step back from that. That's a small example of a progressive thing that's been going on for 20, 35 years. Even in our country, what has happened with celebrations, when teams win sports, you see groups go out and destroy and break windows and this, that, and the other. Now, when did violence and destruction come with celebration? And I think that's learned in our culture. It's not, the mistake we make is to say, well, IUP has to fix that, or Indiana has to fix that. Where it starts is with the people involved, and I think that we all like to celebrate, and we should have a responsibility too. When you're happy, you won something, you want to be able to say, it's okay. The problem is, where does celebration start and end, and craziness, thuggish behavior, violence, and unacceptable rule-breaking, law-breaking begin? What it seems to be, particularly in the video age, it's very quick. You can see a 2-minute video, you're seeing the videos, and folks say these go viral, and folks get a snapshot of what happens. Unfortunately, that's really not what really happens. The vast majority of folks you never hear about, who quietly celebrate in their apartments or their houses, or they go to the particular bars or whatever, and you never hear. You hear the loudest, or say the barking dog gets the most attention. What we have to do is go back to the beginning and say, okay, it's okay to celebrate. It's all right to have fun with your friends, and that's okay. Sometimes things get out of hand, but now in our video age, we are almost really promoting the craziousness, the outlandishness, the how drunk can you get, and how much can you drink this. So now we put it on video and show it, and we laugh about it, when in fact we're really laughing at ourselves, and we're showing the worst. So I said we need to step back. We need to take charge and say, you know what, I no longer will be a part of that. I will be a part of celebration, but when things get out of hand, here's some things that I will do, and that has to start on the student level, on the personal level. It is not a reinforcement from police. It is not a National Guard thing. It is not anything Driscoll can do. It is not a fine thing that can be done to students. It is a personal responsibility. I'll give an example. If you're ever in a situation where something bad happens, you have to decide. There are 3 things you can do. Try to stop it, look at it and enjoy it, or leave. Those are personal responsibility choices, and I think the kids involved in any illegal activity or any group has to make a decision on the spot, separate from what the community, the college, the police will do. And I think that's where we're falling down.
Okay, so the onus is on the student and
Onus
the individual.
is always on the student and the individual. So no one else.
So how, as a community, can we promote these students to make those choices where they don't make the poor decisions on the spot?
Exactly. There's a recent you just had, Take Back the Night. As a matter of fact, I think it's in your most recent Penn.
Mm-hmm.
I was a part of that and was able to, as a videographer and photographer, was able to take pictures. There were about 400-something students there. Very peaceful. Mm-hmm. There was not one security police officer there, not one infraction there. Mm-hmm. Now, how does that work? How do you say, well, they didn't have alcohol? Well, see, we blame alcohol. Alcohol isn't the reason. People do stupid stuff without alcohol. It's not alcohol. So what we have to do is these folks going out saying we're going to take back. The focus has to be, what do we want back? We want our student reputations back. We want the safety of our students back. We want our reputation back. And they can take those back. Fraternities, the people who go out and clean up afterwards, need to be there beforehand. I have to say there are some things we can think in terms of how do we fix this? A bunch of P's. Prayer. I believe in prayer. Some folks don't. I do. Preparation, prevention, planning, and perseverance. There are things we can do that don't cost a thing to make a celebration a true celebration. And Take Back the Night is an example of that. They have to decide. You can get groups to say, we're going to come together. Students, not with administration, not with EMS, not with anybody else. We're going to come together and decide it's okay for us as students to celebrate, but we will no longer tolerate this. When that happens, you will see a decline in the craziness that we're talking about.
What if that doesn't happen? What if, as the student body decides, I mean, as a collective whole, that they like partying and they like making those bad decisions? I mean, what's the end game in this scenario?
That's a great question. I'd say look at the larger issue. Are you familiar with New Year's Eve celebrations around the world?
Yeah.
If you notice in New York, I don't know how, if you're a young guy, you look like you're under 30, so you're young. There was a point where folks went to New York and they celebrated, and it was just a general party. Now, if you watch television now, which is kind of false, everyone's in cages. You're in cages. So that's where we're going. So if students say, you know what, we're going to do what we want to do, we're going to trash what we want to trash, and eventually what's going to happen, you will have cages. The society as a whole will squash that. That's the direction we're going in. So do you want that? Because they will do it. They will bring the National Guard in here. They will have police officers. They will have undercover people. They will have dogs. They will have horses. And they will have all the things that you see. We won't let that happen again. You've heard, well, we won't let that happen again. We'll prepare it a little differently. Prepare what? I mean, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to use force. So do you want that? My question is, do you want it? If you want it, then have at it, because that's what you're going to get.
All righty. Well, a powerful message. Thank you so much for being with us here today, Anthony.
Sure.
This has been the Penn News Spotlight, and catch us next week.
Yeah.
Thank you.